Hi, Lou here to talk a little bit more about RPG monster making. Now, first I'm going to summarize the discussion on gamasutra.com of all places of certain types of monsters as derived from the 4th edition Dungeon Master Guide of D&D, and then I'm going to talk about my categories of the same. These are roles that monsters might fulfill. So the URL for that article is here. Thomas Henschel is the author. He talked about artillery, which excel at ranged combat, attack at a distance, hang back, but are more fragile than other monsters. You can also think of this as magic users on the side of the good guys. Then we have the brute, damage dealers, low defense, high hit points, slower, but they do massive damage. They don't move around much, they just deal out the pain like an elephant or a linebacker or a defensive tackle. Controller, who manipulates opponents or the battlefield to advantage or to assist allies with buffs and heals. They alter conditions like spellcasters. The lurker. They have some ability that lets them avoid attacks, like hiding or becoming invulnerable. They concentrate on defense and then make one big blow every few rounds, a big attack. Then we have minions, fast, light, numerous cannon fodder, like the little guys in Halo. We have skirmishers, who use mobility to threaten, dart in and out of combat, don't stay in one place long. And finally, soldiers, who hold down the player, have average defense and attack, and protectors of the other monsters. So naturally this set me to thinking about what my categories would be, which aren't much different. And here they are. Artillery, again, long range, and I think especially of something like magic users dealing out area effect spells. Strong defenders, who are kind of like the offensive line in American football. Who are they defending? The artillery, among other things. Then we have bodyguards. The bodyguards might protect the leader, the bodyguards might protect the artillery, but they're going to be right there adjacent to them. Then we have creatures that are high damage per minute but expendable. Then we have the soldiers, the ordinary versatile bad guys. We have what I'd call a stealth or commando, somebody who can go behind the enemy lines and tie up the enemy artillery, for example, or tie up the enemy leader, or capture the enemy princess, or whatever it is. Then we have skirmishers, who in my version of things are more like skirmishers in ancient warfare. They use ranged weapons such as bows. They're lightly armored, and they do pinbricks on the enemy and then get out of the way if the enemy counterattacks. Then there are creatures, and he calls them controllers. I don't know what to call them. Creatures who cause buffs and changes in conditions. And finally we have the horde, as I call them, who are very weak, but there are lots of them. The actual name in 4th edition D&D was minion. Now, is it necessary to know a role for a monster when you make one up? I don't think so. It'll find its role. You only need to worry about what the characteristics of the monster are, and it will turn out to be suitable for one thing or another. Thanks for listening.